Yo, what is good, people? I go by the name of Beezy and welcome back to the channel, man. If you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel, make sure you guys are smashing the like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. If you're not part of the Discord or following me on any of my socials, the links to all those things are in the description below, okay? So make sure you join up, all right? Now, with that being said, Act 8.1 came out last week, okay? Now, it has been my main focus since it came out. And I decided to do it differently because normally I'll do one run through. I think normally everybody does one completion run. You do one path on every one and then you'll go back and you'll slowly explore. And I didn't want to do it this time around, mainly because I find that when I fight the last boss, like at least this is what I'm experiencing in Act 7 anyway, when I fight the last boss, then I have to go back and fight other bosses. Then when I come back to the last boss, I've kind of forgotten the mechanics. And I wanted to get to a point where when I get to this boss, I just have to focus on beating this boss. Like, that's it. I don't have to fight any other bosses. Once I take them down for the first time, I go in again, take them down again, and again, and again until they're dead. Yeah, so that's why I've kind of done it this way, just to try a little bit different. I'm not really that much in a rush for the rewards. However, in doing so, what I decided to do was make a note of each path that I took and the team that I used on that path, because I don't really do this kind of content, man. I don't really do exploration videos and tips and stuff like that, but figured we'll try something new, man, because I haven't exactly got the latest roster with all the newest champions, and I also don't have like really high ranked up champions. You know, if you see my account, I've got about 5 or 6 rank 3 6-stars. The rest are like, I've completed some of these paths like using like maxed 5 stars and like a couple of rank 1 or rank 2 6-stars. So if I can do this with my level of gameplay, like a lot of you out there that may be dreading it can definitely manage this, okay? I believe we've used about 700 units and I've got no resources. So this is like 700 units on like energy refills, revives, and potions all together, yeah? So you're doing quite well in my opinion. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I would have needed a lot more just for energy refills alone. And yeah, we've done all right, man. So I've kind of come to a bit more of a halt now, because obviously my units are running low and I don't want to get to a point where I'm struggling. So I'm mixing and matching, slowly exploring still while kind of grinding arena and stuff like that, okay? But in today's video, we're just gonna go through chapter 1.1, okay? So Act 8, chapter 1.1. Now, a lot of you guys that have done this already, congratulations. You know, I hope you guys got really good rewards for those of you that have completed it. For those of you who haven't, we will go through the paths that I took, and well, we'll go through who I used on which paths, okay? Now, the weapon is Exceptional X Gene, and we disarm it by knocking down the defender with a heavy attack. But the thing with this is, like, while the defender's weapon node is on cooldown, they take 600% more damage from heavy attacks, yeah? So literally, I believe the team that I brought in for this was Archangel Domino with the Red Hulk synergy and Colossus with the Omega Red synergy. Domino, I've trialed various different people for these paths, man. Like I went in and done certain paths. Sometimes I'd get like 3 or 4 fights into the path and then I'd restart and go in there with a different team, just trying out things that see what works and what doesn't work. And yeah, Domino absolutely obliterated this, man. Like, honestly, like, yeah, like Domino was an absolutely MVP for that. I believe there's another node, like I believe it's the same node later on in Act 8.1 as well, and I kind of used Domino again. So you'll find this, what it may be worth doing, for those of you that have done a completion run or whatnot, when you're going back and doing exploration, it may be worth, if you build a team for a certain path, finding what parts of chapter 8.1 also have that same path in it, and just doing all those paths like at once. It may be worth doing that, because when I got to a point where I got further into Act 8.1 and I saw that like there was repeated nodes, I was like, oh, I should have done that, do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's one thing I would kind of recommend for you guys to do, okay? My Domino is a 6-star rank 2 unduped, so, and she went crazy on that path, so by all means, you know, you can definitely do the same. So that was the team that I used for the first one. All right, so looking at Bubble Shield, each time an attacker blocks an attack, their block proficiency reduces by 6%. After 10 stacks, the defender's next attack is unblockable. That wasn't really much to worry about. Now, the 6th, the defender has a 50% chance to auto block all medium and light attacks. But then you have here light 'em up. And whenever the defender is suffering from a shock or incinerate debuff, they also suffer a 200% reduction to their evade and auto block ability accuracy, right? So for this path, I used Massacre, Black Widow, Deadly Origin, Human Torch, Hulkbuster, and I brought Black Widow Clairvoyant, but you could bring Doom if you got Doom. Now, to be fair, I didn't even get a chance to use a lot of people because Massacre absolutely destroyed this path for me. My Massacre is a rank 2 6-star unduped, and he absolutely annihilated this path for me. Black Widow would do amazing here as well. My Black Widow is a rank 4 5-star, and like I believe I used her in maybe 1 or 2 fights. I didn't even need to use anyone else, to be honest. Massacre just absolutely destroyed this path for me, to be fair. So I kind of got no complaints there, to be honest. Right, the next path we have Mystic Focus. Whenever a Mystic attacker holds block or charges a heavy attack, they activate a power gain buff, providing 5% of their max power every 1 second for the duration of the block or heavy charge. Mystic attackers gain a permanent passive prowess, increasing their special attack damage by 40% each time they nullify a buff, max stack 10. Now, I'll be real with you guys. I actually brought a few Mystics into this fight, and I'll be honest, unless maybe, I don't think I was focused enough when I done this on the nullifying aspect of this path, because I kind of thought the fights were longer than it needed to be. When I first read this note, I thought that was going to be the only means of how to gain power, but it wasn't. You know, like you could literally still gain power as normal per hits or whatnot. So if I had the choice and I could redo this path, or I had to redo this path, I would have just brought in normal champs, man, and just brought in counters to, like, obviously, if I was fighting a Cosmic champion, I would have brought Mystic to take out the Cosmic, or just herked my way through it or whatnot. I just found that, like, there was no real threat on this path, and yeah, trying to play around how the node was just made the whole path a lot more of a longer experience for me, in my opinion, okay? But if any of you did use, for those of you who have done this path already, if any of you did use any Mystics that were absolute MVPs, let me know in the comments below, okay? The 4th path we took here was, right, this one. The weapon on this path was Red Riot Shield, okay? Whenever the defender makes contact with the attacker, they have a 20% chance to inflict a permanent trauma debuff on the opponent. Trauma causes each hit to deal an additional 50% of damage, dealt as a burst of physical damage. Now, with this, all traumas are removed when the defender finishes a special attack. Now, with this, I actually got hit on purpose just to test it out, because I was just like, this doesn't seem something that I'm familiar with. So I got hit on purpose just to test out what it was like, and I thought, okay, cool, so I basically don't want to get hit. Okay, all right, cool. And then obviously you can disarm the weapon node by whenever the attacker applies a stun debuff or a passive to the defender, any weapon node active on the defender is disabled, so you just got to parry basically. Now, when you see here unarmed, while the defender's weapon node is on cooldown, they take 400% more damage from special 2 attacks, okay? Now, Ghost absolutely shredded this path. Ghost absolutely shredded. Yeah, I didn't need nothing else. Ghost just absolutely terrorized the whole path. It was a mad thing. So the team I went in with was Ghost. So I went in with a 5-star and 6-star Ghost, Wasp for the unblockable special 2s, and then Nick Fury and Human Torch. I found myself, like, when I found that people, like, champions were absolute MVPs for a certain path, I just started bringing in like an extra champ or 2 for the boss that I was gonna take on, if I'm being honest. Cause bro, like, honestly, like, it was just, oh mate, Ghost absolutely destroyed this path. The only fight I didn't really use Ghost for was Mojo I use Human Torch for, and Miles Morales, I did use Ghost for Miles Morales, and then I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, so I started the path again, and then I went in with Nick Fury, and yeah, man, wasn't that much. It was all right. It was all right. The Miles fight was a bit long, a bit longer than I wanted it to be. But yeah, man, like Ghost, everything else Ghost just absolutely shredded, if I'm being honest. So yeah, Ghost was an absolute MVP for me for that path. Okay, so the next one, Gimme Shelter. The defender has a 60% chance to auto block basic attacks. This chance decreases by 15% for each buff on the attacker. While auto block chance is above 0%, the defender gains 100% chance to resist heavy block break. Okay, cosmic attackers who reach a total of 3 Fury, Armor Up, or Precision buffs gain an indefinite aptitude buff. This aptitude buff increases the potency of all future Fury, Armor, and Precision buffs by 50% each time they gain a Fury, Armor Up, or a Precision buff beyond 2, max stack 10. Now, for this path, I brought Angela, Herc, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Gamora, King Groot. Now, I've done a few fights with Gamora because Gamora gains buffs so easily. And I really enjoy using Gamora. My Gamora was a 6-star rank 1, unduped, and yeah, I enjoyed using her. But then I came in with Angela, and oh my word, Angela, baby. My Angela is a rank 2. Okay, I think she's like Sig 100 and something. Can't remember what Sig level she is, but she's a 6-star rank 2, and oh my gosh, I whenever I use her, I always say, bro, at what point are you gonna take her to rank 3, bro? Like, why are you taking so long with it? Honestly, she absolutely annihilated this path. Absolutely annihilated this path. So yeah, she was an absolute MVP for me, to be fair. For the last path, the defender has a 50% chance to inflict poison when struck, dealing 50% of the attacker's max health over 10 seconds. Additionally, if the attacker has no active fury buffs, the defender takes 90% less damage. Okay, now that was the main one. This path also has flare though, and I hate flare. Oh, I hate flare so much, man. Honestly, so I tried to just make it as much as I could of using champions that had a class advantage, so that the flare node wouldn't penalize me so much. Okay, so for this path, I brought in Angela, Diablo, She-Hulk, Ant-Man, Ghost. Ant-Man didn't do too well for me, like in this path. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just found that trying to wrap up these fights really quickly, especially when you're using someone like She-Hulk. Oh, trying to use Ant-Man and trying to get the poison. Oh, bro, it was long. It was long, bro. So yeah, man, I believe I brought Ant-Man in the end, but I only used him for like 1 or 2 fights, and I was just like, this took far too long. I won't be doing that again. So yeah, unless you're a massive Ant-Man fan and you don't mind, I wouldn't necessarily bring him. But everyone else seemed to do relatively well on the path for me. I don't even believe I used Ghost either on that path. Angela, obviously, because mine is a fairly high Sig, would obviously just, I didn't have to worry about the poison too much, and obviously she was regenerating, so I didn't have to worry. Diablo was fine, and then obviously She-Hulk was poison immune. So yeah, like that, they kind of done all right for that part for me, so I didn't really have to worry. Now, boss wise, so obviously for the bosses we got Strife, Red Skull, and Hood. Okay, now in my opinion, the Hood is by far the easiest boss. I used Ghost to take on Hood. I didn't even bring no synergies with her. Didn't bring Wasp. Didn't bring Hood. No, nothing. Just Ghost. And my lord, man, the fight was so quick. Like, it was just easy. Because every time you're dashing back, you're applying a bleed on you, but at the same time, you're converting it into a Fury. So I ended up doing SP2s and having like 6 or 7 Furies stacked up on me. It was just crazy. Now, because the Furies kind of like go down so quickly, the first hit of my SP2 might have like 6 Furies on it, and then by the time the next hit comes, 1 Fury would have dropped off, and so on and so on. But yeah, it was just an amazingly quick fight, man. So definitely Hood is an easy takedown with Ghost, in my opinion, if you know what you're doing. Red Skull, I found that Nick Fury was like my biggest MVP. However, I used Black Cat for Red Skull. Now, shout out to the Black Cat lovers out there, because if you know what you're doing with Black Cat, oh my gosh, she is crazy. I could not believe what my Black Cat was doing at rank 1 as a 6-star. I was like, what's going on? What is this? I was like, what's going on? So I definitely want to use her a bit more and take her to rank 2, because she surprised me in Act 8.1 exploration, to be honest. There was a few parts that I used her on and I was very impressed with her. So yeah, Nick Fury or Black Cat was definitely my MVPs for Red Skull. And Strife I used Human Torch for, man. Like I said, none of the fights were like too difficult in my opinion, but I just found the Hood fight was just absolutely just light work with Ghost, man. So those are the people that I use on all the paths or whatnot. If you guys use something different, or you had like a specific champion that was an absolute MVP on a specific path of Act 8 part 0.1.1. Yo, what is good, people? I go by the name of Beezy and welcome back to the channel, man. If you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel, make sure you guys are smashing the like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. If you're not part of the Discord or following me on any of my socials, the links to all those things are in the description below, okay? So make sure you join up, all right? Now, with that being said, Act 8.1 came out last week, okay? Now, it has been my main focus since it came out, and I decided to do it differently because normally I'll do one run through. I think normally everybody does one completion run. You do one path on every one and then you'll go back and you'll slowly explore. And I didn't want to do it this time around, mainly because I find that when I fight the last boss, like at least this is what I'm experiencing in Act 7 anyway,